So I've been playing Fatal Frame 2.
Captain's log. Stardate 420699111. It has been years since I last reviewed the first Fatal Frame. As suspected, my crew is aware of this and has become wary. Harold seems to be perpetually stuck inside of the holodeck. Said something about summer lessons. I'm not sure what he means. Also, this one guy in the comments said, the only thing offensive about Coco Bandicoot is that I can't ram my fuck stick in and out of her bandicunt and blast her innards with my hate seed so she may spawn my doom child. This is clearly a cry for help. A cry for Fatal Frame.
Yeah, so Fatal Frame is a video game, and Fatal Frame 2 is a sequel to it. Not quite what I'll be playing though, as they actually remade the whole thing with a modern camera and motion controls for the Nintendo Wii. Well, if you live in either Japan or Europe at least. So I'd figured it about high time to flex my EU boner of superiority and cover the version that most of you watching never got. Y'all keep Xenosaga.
I'm not salty at all.
Anyway, in the sequel remake cluster bang, you play as two brittle schoolgirls called Mayu and Mio, who are drawn to Minakami Village by a flock of crimson butterflies, but also just because they're kinda there, really. The village, by the way, is home to an evil ancient ritual that involves two young girls and about 500 satans at least. And wouldn't you know, the two girls required just so happen to look like our dainty duo. Oh, not that you would know any of this, as the game's about as vague and cryptic as a Kingdom Hearts plot synopsis. I mean, shit starts off with the girls dicking around in a forest while scantily dressed, then one of them disappears, then night falls, then dress, then running through a forest with girl trots, then butterflies, and then the game starts. You don't really know what they're doing, who they are, or why they're even there, but we've stumbled across this little ghost town, so we might as well explore. Which you do in a similar fashion to the first game. There's puzzles, backtracking, locked doors, and of course, many a ghost to photo. Structurally, the game is quite similar to a Silent Hill game, in that instead of it taking place in one giant location a la mansion, it has town, and town has houses. These houses represent the actual main puzzle box gameplay locations where you'll often spend a considerable amount of time doing puzzles and shooting ghosts, often leading up to a new story revelation and a built-up to boss fight like the owner of the house you're in, whom you've learned about by reading his notes and assembling his dolls to get keys because of course. All of it just kinda clicks together. You know, like a puzzle box. And in between these houses, you get to backtrack a wee bit back in village, going into smaller places, or visiting some previous areas to grab some shit real quick. Though luckily nothing too grating going on backtracking wise. Honestly, if I'd say there's anything that this game does well, it's pacing, and using said pacing to serve its spook factor. Like, in terms of actual movement, for example, this game is one slow-ass bitch. It has tank control still, but the arc is fucked and the walking speed is butt. Surprisingly, by the way, the actual camera stuff is done with the Wiimote. You can only kinda pan the main camera up or down or left or right as far as the ghosting goes. You'll mostly just be analoguing your ass off. Which is good, as much like in RE, this allows the game to have full control over one's ability to react good, and thus it can build the ghosts around the slower timing and turning arcs. Like, some might teleport or split up into two, creating a phony duplicate, and others might lumber towards you slowly, only going ham once they get cozy. There aren't really all that many ghosts overall, now that I fuck. The first game was a tad grating in retrospect, with how frequent the bastards would pop up and all, but here it's more about building up that atmosphere. Sure, you still get the arcadey shooting with the points used to upgrade your camera's reload speed, film capacity, and damage output, but it stays away from the Sega-esque hokiness to quite an impressive degree. For one, I never felt empowered at all. Fuck knows, taking beauty shots of dead people isn't exactly as satisfying as straight blowing a zombie's head off or smashing the penis monsters with a rusty pipe, and as I said, you also control the most dainty and breakable duo known to man. But the ghosts are, few though they may be, quite the actual threat. Damage numbers are high, whilst yours stay quite low, and in some cases they can come at you from any corner. This makes every ghost encounter a source of grave panic, which is amplified by the classic Wii waggle upon getting ganked. However, lifting this to moderate brilliance is the previously alluded to pacing. Thing is that this game likes tight corridors, tiny rooms, and dimly lit dilapidated areas filled with ropes, cobwebs, broken windows, rotting planks, and other distractions obscuring the ghosties. Seriously, this fight right here on this narrow-ass walkway, for example, really caught me off guard. I mean, most games wouldn't do that. Boss fountains, big stairs with altars, and wide open rooms are typically the things leading up to boss fights, but here they can happen literally anywhere. Nor is the distinction between what is a boss or a normal enemy easy to make at all, as each ghost is in a way its own fight, with a name, a few notes, and no reused models or attacks. Essentially, there are no safe zones. Nothing to indicate anything other than grueling, slow-paced, fragile, yet molasses-covered angst. Which is where the atmosphere and music come into play. Fatal Frame 2 doesn't rely on structure-defining tropes like the enemy encounter theme or silence indicating that there aren't any enemies around. Even the fucking save points can straight up turn off on you, nor do they keep away the bads even in case of lit. Overall, I'd describe it as unrelentingly oppressive. Shit never lets up, and somehow never grows old either, due to its lack of clear states of play. Again, ghosts can always happen, sometimes while picking up an item in the slowest manner possible. Sometimes they'll appear and whoop your ass boss fight style, and other times they'll only hang around to scare you, promptly fading away immediately after. As does the music, dynamically tensing the fuck up, indicating shit, though often leaving you with naught but balls of blue. Even backtracking, which is often lathered in safe feeling, been there done that attitude, still leaves the revisitees as scary as they were upon first encounter because of how the game fucks with you. Maybe toying with a sense of safeness or repeatedly juking you out by playing scary music at a certain door, when suddenly, after like the 6th billionth time, oh no! So scary!
Everyone's calling us, Mio.
Even the girls themselves start becoming a potential threat to you, slowly succumbing to the cryptic fuck that got them stuck there in the first place. Shit's excellent. There's a constant ebb and flow of unrelenting all-out spooks and equally oppressive but more reserved tense exploration, both helped along by the fact that even leaving an item description open for too long can lead to dick. Of course, every house being a smidge different with its own kind of themes, memes, and area-specific gimmicks adds to this too. For instance, just after you conquered your first house, had a bit of a backtrack and found some optional stuff maybe, you might actually start to feel some sense of that game-crippling confidence that plagues other horror games. So naturally, the next house you enter strips you of your flashlight, your sister, and lets you sort out the scary curtains and creepy corridors all on your own. Quite cleverly setting you back without actually really setting you back at all mechanically. Like, if you figured that the twins thing would play into the puzzles at all outside of, like, this one particular instance, you'd be sorely mistaken. Shit's molto tradizionale. Though things can get a bit... God damn it, bitch, get out of the way! Things can get a bit cozy, is what I'm trying to get at here. Dude also sneaks up on you, hella pale looking, standing there all dead-eyed, and collision in general can be a tad off. FOV is a commodity in Minakami Village. And as a result, you can't even see your own feet, making wee step stoops and picking up floor-bound items a bit of an occasional ass poke. Said items, in any case, are usually keys and pendants and keys that lead to doors and cupboards and doors. If you've ever eviled any residencies, you can most certainly fatal these frames just as well. Though they do have some puzzles that involve the camera, but not nearly as many as the first game did. These see you snapping some ghost goo to get to a ghost door showing you a ghost location, and upon taking a picture of whatever's there, thus clearing the ghost goo, you open door. What is new is how shit's considerably easier. Survival items like health and film aplenty, and with every key you find or goo you get got, the map screen will promptly rip the Wiimote right out of your hands in order to show you where you need be. Now, to be fuck, it's not like the game isn't challenging at all. I did refer to a walkthrough at least once or twice, but in both cases it was because I wasn't seeing stuff rather than it was because I wasn't knowing stuff. Like this one item that was inside of the fucking ceiling. Overall though, the pacing and atmosphere save the simplistic puzzles. I mean, when the game's as constantly scary as it is, simply walking to where you're told to go is still engaging and even difficult in the sense that you'd need to overcome that one hallway again with the music and the darkness and the... Yeah, no. So, yeah, it's good. Quite good even. Brilliant in some aspects, perhaps. Though I will admit that the ghost designs are kinda lame. And also, story? I should probably talk about the story. As I said, shit's kinda vague, and all characters except for the twinsies and the grey gay cute boy in his wee little cage are ghosts that are not but howls, cries, and somewhat statically written notes that, while definitely adding some backstory and intrigue, are written with the amount of personality of dry fucking bread. Typically, I don't review games based on what they're not and tend to do so based on what they are, but I can't help but feel that this is a bit of a missed opportunity. Like, how cool would it be if these notes and prior jump-scary encounters actually got you to empathize with these now deceased people, building them up proper so that by the time you're killing them through bad photography, it could be a rather bittersweet sad moment, or some satisfying revenge on some asshole dude you read about or whatever. But nah, it's just about these two dead twins who look just like our own twins, and so the village's spirits question mark are like, yeah, okay, we can use these two too to do whatever it is we need to do. And so they slowly succumb to the fuckness, which is a cool thing to see, as I actually really like these two. Personality-less though they may be, I think their animations speak volumes here. Like, they're always on the verge of shitting themselves. These two aren't fear-overcoming badass sass masters like Heather, or big-titty dog kickers like Fiona, and certainly no Sailor Mooning posh bitches a la Alessa. They are but wee teenagers who are very much out of their element. Doors are hard to open, chests are heavy, ghosts are scary, and just about every noise causes them to huddle up together to do that thing where they grab their hands and look proper agoo Japanese. That was probably racist. It works, in any case. Mamoru engage. And the banter, what they share while playing on occasion, helps to make the game not feel as dead and distant as the first one did. Also, them having an intrinsic link to the town itself makes matters feel a lot more personal too. It's cool. The only thing that kind of fumbles my fucko is the fact that it might almost be too scary in a sense. I mean, the game can be a tad hard to play if I'm honest. It is engaging, yeah, but given how on edge I was for almost the entire thing, it did feel more tiring than fun at times. Though, perhaps that can be seen as a compliment just as well.